All right, let's talk about that dreaded check engine light. You know the one. If you're here, you've probably got it staring you in the face. Well, today we are going to decode one of the most common reasons it pops on, the P0442 error code. We're going to break down what it means, and even better, how you might be able to fix it yourself and save some cash.
Yep, there it is, that glowing amber symbol of pure anxiety on your dashboard. You know that feeling, right? Your heart just kind of sinks. You're immediately thinking, oh no, this is going to be a simple fix or a super expensive trip to the mechanic. It happens to all of us, and today we are tackling one of the most common reasons that light decides to ruin your day.
So you did the smart thing, you grabbed one of those code scanners, you plugged it in, and boom, it spits out this code, P0442. Now, I know it sounds super technical and intimidating, but don't sweat it. We're going to translate exactly what your car is trying to tell you in plain English. All right, so what in the world is a P0442 code? Well, to get to the bottom of it, we have to talk about a part of your car you've probably never even thought about. It's called the Evaporative Emission System, or just the EVAP system for short.
Okay, here's the big reveal. P0442 basically means your car's computer has sniffed out a tiny leak. And I really mean tiny. We're not talking about a puddle of gas under your car. No. This is a very small leak of gasoline vapors. See, this whole EVAP system is supposed to be totally sealed, and your car's computer is telling you, hey, something's not sealed up right.
So why does your car even have this complicated system? Well, think of it as your car's own little recycling program for gas fumes. Instead of just letting those raw gasoline vapors escape from your tank and pollute the air, the EVAP system captures them. It stores them in this thing called a charcoal canister. Then, later on, when you're driving, it feeds those fumes right back into the engine to be burned up. It's a totally closed loop, which is exactly why even the smallest leak can set off that check engine light. Okay, so now we know we're hunting for a leak. This gives us our list of usual suspects. It could be something as simple as a loose gas cap, maybe some cracked hoses, or a couple of valves that aren't doing their job. Some of these are way more common and way easier to fix than others. So think of this as our detective's roadmap for finding the culprit. Let's get right to it and start with the #1 most common culprit. Seriously, a huge percentage of the time, this is the entire problem, and the fix is, well, it's almost laughably simple. This is absolutely your first check, and it could save you a ton of headache. The #1 cause, by a long shot, is something you touch every single time you go to the gas station. It's your gas cap. Your first mission, and you should do this right now if you can, is to go out to your car and check that gas cap. First, is it even on tight? Unscrew it and then screw it back on until you hear it click at least 3 times. That's the key. While you have it off, take a good look at that rubber O-ring or seal. Is it all dried out? Are there cracks in it? It should feel soft. If it's worn out, a new gas cap is one of the cheapest and easiest fixes in the entire auto world. And hey, if you have one of those newer capless systems, just make sure that little flap inside the filler neck is clean and can seal properly. Okay, so maybe you tightened the gas cap or even replaced it, you cleared the code, and then, the light came back. Don't panic. It just means our leak is hiding a little better. It's time to go on a deeper hunt. All right, next up is a good old-fashioned visual inspection. Pop the hood, and, if you can do it safely, take a peek under the car around the gas tank area. What you're looking for are all the black hoses that make up this EVAP system. Just trace them with your eyes. And hey, if the engine is cold, you can even trace them with your fingers. Give them a gentle squeeze. Do they feel kind of hard and crunchy? A good hose should be flexible. You're hunting for those tiny hairline cracks. Pay extra close attention to any sharp bends or where the hoses connect to other parts. Now let's talk about 2 other key suspects, the purge valve and the vent valve. The easiest way to think of these guys is as the bouncers, or the gatekeepers for the whole EVAP system. The purge valve, which you'll usually find up near the engine, is the gate that lets the stored fumes into the engine to be burned. The vent valve, that one's usually back near the gas tank, and it opens and closes to let the system run self-tests. If either one of these gets stuck or doesn't seal up tight, bam, you've got yourself a leak. Pro tip. Sometimes a bad purge valve will make a fast, quiet clicking noise you can hear. And remember that charcoal canister we talked about? The little storage box for the gas fumes? While the canister itself can sometimes crack, it's way more common for the hoses connected to it to be the real problem. So when you're doing your inspection, give those connections at the canister some extra special attention. Okay, you've checked the cap, you've looked at all the hoses you can see, and you still can't find anything wrong. At this point, there's absolutely no shame in calling a pro.
because they have a secret weapon that makes finding these invisible leaks a whole lot easier.
And here it is. The mechanic's secret weapon is a smoke machine. It's really not as crazy as it sounds. They basically hook up this machine that gently pumps a totally harmless, visible smoke into the entire EVAP system. And then, it's simple. They just look for where that little puff of smoke is escaping from. It is, without a doubt, the best way to find the exact location of a really tricky, tiny leak.
That smoke test is also great at finding some of the rarer culprits. We're talking about things like a tiny pinhole of rust on the metal pipe you put gas into, or a bad seal in the fuel pump. It can even uncover a faulty fuel tank pressure sensor, which is a really sneaky one, because the sensor is just feeding the computer bad info, making it think there's a leak when there isn't one. Yeah, these are definitely jobs for a mechanic.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here, from the super simple stuff to the pro-level tools. Let's wrap it all up and answer that big question you've probably had from the start.
So what's the final call? Is this P0442 code something you can handle in your driveway in about 5 minutes, or is this a guaranteed trip to the shop? Well, the real answer, as you probably figured out, is it really depends.
But here is the most important takeaway from all of this. A P0442 code is not a reason to panic. It's not a catastrophic failure. In fact, it almost never even affects how your car drives. Just remember the plan. Start with the easy stuff. Always check the gas cap first. Then be systematic with your visual checks. Don't panic. By tackling it this way, you've got a fantastic shot at fixing it yourself for cheap, and hey, you'll end up knowing your car just a little bit better. And that's always a good thing.